What's going on, guys? It's your boy Diplomat, and today it's going to be quite a special video. First off, I want to say thank you to the 10,000 subscriber mark we just reached. I appreciate everyone who's been tuning into the videos, who's been commenting, liking, subbing, and all that. Thank you so much, and we finally hit our goal of 10,000 subscribers. Today's video is sponsored by Eagleheadlights. Now, Eagleheadlights provided us with a headlight for my 13 Road Glide, and it's not any headlight. This headlight is badass. Now, Eagleheadlights doesn't make parts just for Harley-Davidson. They make parts for basically any bike you can think of. You just select your year, make, and model, hit search, and all the parts that are necessary for your bike will show up. They also offer LED kits available for your bike, just like on my Vikla. And when you're all said and done, make sure you use code The Diplomats for 15% off at checkout. The headlight that Eagleheadlights have provided for me, it just blew my mind. I was like, hold on, I can have the best of both worlds. And we're gonna do that in just a minute. Now, before we start the video, I did say that this video was sponsored by Eagleheadlights, so rather than get my white tee dirty, I'd rather just get Eagleheadlights' t-shirt dirty, and it was free. So I'm gonna throw it on. I'm gonna represent Eagleheadlights while I install their headlight that they provided for me, and that's that. Now, let's get to the work. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. T27, I could be wrong. Either T27 or T25. First, those come off. Then we have these halves here. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's gonna give me access to remove the lights, to pull the fairing off, and then we can get inside and start swapping out the headlight. So again, first thing we're gonna do is remove the 6 bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those 2 are missing. Since I bought the bike, I might as well, once I'm done with the headlight, ride over to Harley and get those 2 $6,000 screws replaced, or new, whatever you want to call it, and get that done. And then, yeah, just go for a little night ride, see how the new headlight's gonna be. But let's get to it. So to make this process a little quicker, grab yourself a 1/2 inch ratcheting. If you got one of these. If you don't have one of these, it's okay, just get yourself a regular 1/2. And I was correct, T25 Torx. I'll put mine on the impact at the low settings, which I'll do now so that you don't ruin anything, but make yourself quicker. 1/2 T25. You're going to see these 2 that need loosened up. What you want to do is make sure you hold the turn signal as you're removing this last one, because the turn signal will fall. You don't want to damage anything. Turn signal will be laying like that, so you want to be careful when you loosen it up. Kind of hold it until it's down so that you don't damage anything or scratch anything. So let's get the other one off. You're gonna have the 2 plugs for the headlight. Two plugs for the headlight. Unclip those, and then we'll set the fairing over here. Make sure that you hold it with one hand and try to unplug at the same time. If you can't, get yourself something to protect the fender. I don't have any cover to protect the fender. Normally I use a blanket, but I don't even know where any of them are at. So just make sure that when you're removing it, you cover up the front fender with something, and to protect the fairing from falling down onto the fender. Get yourself a plastic trim tool and try to pry out the bezel. It gave me a little bit of headache. There's 4 tabs on the inside of the fairing that need to be kind of unclipped, and then you could turn it around and pop the clips out. But it gave me a little bit of trouble, and eventually I was able to get them off. Bezel out. Now what you want to do is use the other side of the trim tool and slowly push on each side of the clip on the inside of the fairing so it can release the headlight from the actual fairing. Headlights out. See these here? They push on the sides and they lock into this. Like when it sets in, sits up, and then it locks in place, so you have to push these in to release it. So get this up off to the side. Now this headlight, I'm not going to show you it till the end, but this headlight comes with a couple extra parts on it, and I'm not sure how it goes together because it is a newer style. I haven't seen too many videos on it, so we're here to make one for you, and we'll figure it out together, to be honest with you. Alright, so they don't have instructions to go with this headlight. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna figure it out by ourselves, alright? Now, working on a few motorcycles, I know that most of the time these brown and purple wires are normally for turn signals, and obviously the headlight has turn signals integrated inside of them. Now, this red wire here, I'm not sure what it does, but from looking at the photos, I'm assuming that it's gonna run these lights here. So it could have running and turn signal, but to test that, this is what we're gonna do. So you remember this crappy battery that gave us trouble on this guy? What we're gonna do here is grab this little munchkin. We're gonna set him on the table. Now, before I do this, I just want you to know, now nobody actually gives a crap about how you test your things, so I test mine how I want to, so you can keep your opinions to yourself. What we're gonna do here, you have your negative and your positive, okay? I need to test it, so I need this negative, right? I need this negative right here, just the end of this. I'm gonna put the negative on here without touching the other two on that negative post, okay? Do not let those other two posts touch anything, okay? And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna tap it on the red. I'm just gonna tap because I don't know what it's gonna do. See that? So we have something. So now if I hold it, I know that that is the running, okay? And I'm gonna assume that the purple and right are left and right turn signal for these as well. So basically this runs and this runs. When I hit the turn signal, it goes from white to amber. So I'm gonna assume that these two wires is what that's for, all right? So let's get this headlight into the fairing and get the bike done. So we're gonna grab a 4. All right, get that snug. So this bracket right here that came with the new headlight, for some reason didn't fit in my fairing. So I had to actually transfer over the other adapter from the old headlight and put it on the new one, which you'll see here in the next clip. All right, so in this clip, you can see that I'm switching over the hardware from the old headlight to the new headlight because the hardware that came with the new headlight seemed to be just a little small and I couldn't adjust how I wanted the headlight to be when it was on the bike. So I had to switch to the hardware and then was able to put it into the fairing like it was supposed to be. So now what we're gonna do is get back to this and install the fairing and install the wiring. On the new headlight, all of this sits pretty fairly close to each other except for the positive and the turn signal wires, okay? So what we wanna do here, and I'm just doing this for my own good, you guys can do as you wish. So right now what we're looking for is a wire that has power at the switch, not constant power. We do not want to use constant power. We just want a wire that'll give me power on the switch so that when I turn the key on, it gives me power to the red wire, which is for the daytime running lights. And when I took the fairing off, I noticed that there was a wire that had a red cap on it. So I was assuming that that had some sort of power. So I just wanted to test it to make sure that when I put the wire on, it was working on the switch and everything was good. It's 12.0 at the switch and goes off when I turn the switch off, okay? So I just want it to not be constant. So this is perfect to get power off of. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna start at the end of the headlight, okay? With a little bit of slack. So I'm gonna do something kind of like this. Follow the wire all the way up until like maybe right here with a little bit of slack. And then we'll cut it like right there somewhere, okay? Get yourself one of these right here because that is gonna sit right in there perfectly so we don't have to screw with it. See that? It'll sit right in there and we don't have to do anything, any modifying. We're just gonna boom, plug it right into that and it's gonna give me power to that headlight. So I connected it to the wire. So now what we're gonna do is come. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna clip this onto here. Just like that. Okay. Just like that. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab a piece of electrical tape and we're going to cover the piece that I just installed. And then grab a few more pieces and go down the row. See, now I know that the wire is safe, covered. I can install the headlight and install that piece. And when I pull the headlight, when I start installing the headlight, it's easy access. I could just clip everything on and it's ready to go. When I install the fairing has two spots. I'm gonna try to do this with one hand because it's fairly easy, but the fairing has two slots right here. 1, 2. And when we put this on here, we'll see if I can do this with one hand. It's going to sit in those slots on the fairing, which make sure everything's lined up, which I'm trying, which I can't do with one hand, which I'm close. And once I get it on there, boom, it sits like that. See? It sits just like that in place. But now I need to fish out these wires because I wasn't able to do that while I was putting the fairing on. But it sits just like that, okay? And now we can mess around with everything, align everything up, kind of fix everything as we go. But it's supposed to sit by itself just like that on those two hooks. Try to fish this wiring harness back in here. Maybe with there. Look at that. Now we have access to the headlight. So, this is what we're gonna do now. In order for us to figure out the turn signals, we're gonna get the headlight on, bringing the turn signal wires down underneath, and then we'll test them so we can see what side is what. So, for example, remember how before I said these come with extensions? We're gonna add those on right now. Okay. We'll figure that out as we go. So we got brown to brown. And then purple to purple. Okay. Now, what I'm gonna do, this is because I just want to, I'm gonna put shrink wrap over top. I'm gonna put shrink over top so that I know that they're kind of secure in place. I don't like the way these are sitting like this, but I'm gonna put some wrap over top, heat them up to make sure they don't go nowhere, and then we'll be right back. All right, so I added the shrink, as you guys can see. Now I know it's secure, it's good, it's not gonna go anywhere. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of fish this back behind here like this. So now we're gonna plug this in place. Okay, we're gonna connect this one here, the positive. I'm gonna add shrink to this too, because I'm afraid of this touching anything. So I'm gonna add a shrink to that real quick. So we added shrink to the red wire. That is safe and secure now as well. Now what we wanna do is get this harness over here off to the side. Get it out of my way. And then this is gonna have to turn around this way. Like this. Now, it's gonna be really difficult to get these on. So that's gonna be the fun part. I'm gonna be 100% because it has to go through this hole and lock in place. Now what we want to do is line this up top. Again, getting all the wires out of the way. We'll tug on the turn signal wires just to get them back, and I'll see if we can kind of lock this in place here.
Now, as I'm installing the headlight, I noticed later on that the headlight was sticking just a little bit too far out, so I had to go back in and readjust. But putting on the trim gave me a little bit of a headache, and the tabs weren't lining up, but I was able to get it in as well. It just took a little bit of time. I had to fight with it for a little bit, but later on we did go back in. We did adjust the headlight to spec how it's supposed to be. I just couldn't do it at the moment. I just wanted to make sure that the wires were all in the correct spot and all the lights were working accordingly. And then I went back later on and readjusted the headlight.
So what I had to do was remove the turn signals to see where the power was. In doing so, the original harness coming, or the stock harness coming from the inside of the bike, actually has brown and purple. So brown is going to be for the right side and purple is going to be for the left turn signal. So the new headlight that I showed you in the video earlier, the right is brown and the purple is left. So you guys know if you're ever installing one of these. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using these here, okay? And these are to connect two wires together. So what I'm going to do is grab this purple wire, and on both turn signals, on the right and the left, on this end of the plug, they're both going to be purple and blue and black. Okay, so don't confuse yourself, but what you want to do is put it on the purple wire. That's your signal wire, okay? And connect. So basically, here, I'm gonna show you. Let me put it together and I'm gonna show you. Okay, so I connected it like this. I connected it to this side of the light so that if I ever have to take this apart, I don't mess with the stock harness. I don't mess with any of this. I could just pull this off, cut it if I want to, do what I have to do. But I did this. It's a connector. It connects both wires together. And then what I'll do is I'll plug this in like this, really quick. Connected, okay? And then hit my switch. Okay, now we have power. See that? Power. And then I'll hit my turn signal. I'm trying to do this all one hand. See? Now I have turn signal there and turn signal there. You see that? See that? Yeah. All right, guys, so the battery on the camera ended up dying. So I ended up finishing the job. Let me show you here. Ended up putting the turn signals back on the same way I removed them. Got the 2 bolts in the back with a half, and ended up adding the 6 screws that go onto the front of the fairing. So the 6 screws, and then the 4 1/2-inch these bad boys over here. Those 4 here, 2 on this side, 2 on the other side, and yeah, that's it. God, what a great night it was. From installing this beautiful headlight to hitting the gym to going roller skating. I'm satisfied with the outcome of the road glide. But yeah, this is the end of my video. Y'all be safe. God bless. Make sure you hit that sub button, hit the like button, comment down below. Again, I appreciate the 10,000 subs. I love y'all, man. God bless. Be safe. I'll talk to you on the next video. Peace.